Hello, this is Jesus Arias. It is an absolute pleasure being a guest speaker for the Global Digital Week. Thanks a lot to the organizers. Today, I would like to share with you my IoT story. Many times we talk about IoT as a technology, but I think we tend to forget the human aspect of what is behind the technology. I do believe that technology is not the end result, but the means to an end. And we, the people who use the technology, shouldn't forget that perspective. So today, I'm doing a new presentation I have never done before, which is telling my story of why I am working in the IoT industry. So, without further ado, I would like to tell you a bit of context before I tell you my actual story, because it's very important. Currently, I work with a international association. It is called KNX Association. This this group has been in the market for more than 30 years, which is already a lot. This association was founded in 1990 by a bunch of electrical manufacturers like Siemens, ABB, Schneider Electric, Hager, and so on, companies in this profile. The truth is, it has been growing very healthily for more than 30 years. And to the date, we have more than 500 members globally. And a big community, which is also very incredible, is that there are more than 110,000 certified installers worldwide. These are people who know how to carry out an installation utilizing KNX technology. This technology is in the vertical of homes and buildings, smart homes and buildings, and everything or any application within this vertical, like lighting, HVAC, security, etc., etc. So this is the association. This is the vertical, and this is the community where I am involved with. This translates in actual technology. This, what you can see now, is the technology landscape of the KNX association. The association creates the specifications. It's actually an international standard. And these specifications are utilized by the members to develop products, solutions, services in the vertical of smart homes and buildings. This section on the left has been in the market for more than 30 years. This is a protocol that allows devices to communicate with each other, to understand each other. They share information they both understand. Very quick example, you can grab a thermostat from Schneider Electric and a HVAC controller from Siemens. These are competitors, right, in the market, but these two devices work together in the same network. This is really amazing. This has been realized with communication media that is specific to KNX. There's a twisted pair and radio frequency. Many years ago already, when there was a need to communicate with IP, right? These telegrams, these protocols were wrapped in an IP telegram, and there we go. You can access this from IP. But this is now, since 2 years ago, there is the new IoT branch. So what is IoT? Is the digitalization of this technology to become IP native. So this is, when people ask me, what is IoT in your industry? This is it. This is it. It is a technology that has been existing for more than 30 years. It expands the landscape with native IPv6 technology. So this is very important to keep into consideration. Don't worry, if I went too technical, we'll come back here in a few slides to understand better the actual outcome of this. Now, allow me to share with you my story. I studied telecommunications engineering in Spain. I am from Spain. And already by then, I did an internship in our biggest telecommunications company, which is Telefonica. There already, I discovered that I don't like to work for very big corporations, but it was a very good experience. Then, just after I graduated, I found my first real job, right? The first real job, you just go out and find something that is related to your technology, to your knowledge, and start making a career. This company, Eurocontrol, they specialize in certifying things like base stations for telecommunications. After a year, I also discovered that that wasn't my cup of tea, and I wanted to do something else, more hands-on, probably. So I was given the opportunity to start a department for smart homes and buildings. So totally without any knowledge in that field, with a white canvas, I started to research what technologies are in this industry. And after a thorough benchmarking, I really fell in love with KNX. I thought the philosophy of being vendor independent, international standard, really fulfilled my understanding of what a technology should be. So I did what they call the KNX partner course, which is to understand how the technology is applied in a real installation. And I really loved it. Yet, after a while, I realized, like many people from Spain, that if you don't speak English, you barely will make it far. So I had to, and I had to learn English. And what a better way than going to an English-speaking country? So I decided to go to Ireland. Well, I didn't speak English much by then, but I did speak KNX. So thanks to this, I found a job in less than a month in a company that did system integration using KNX technology. So that was really the best opportunity for me to learn the language, but also to deploy my knowledge in KNX in real installations, which I really appreciated, and manage or help my career to get a level of senior level in something that I really was passionate about. So after that, moved back to Spain, and with this knowledge in my backpack, I wanted to continue in this industry. And then I came across a very little manufacturer of KNX equipment. That was a total surprise for me that there was a KNX manufacturer in Spain. And then I saw they had open positions, and I contacted them. And just after a few interviews, I ended up working at Zenio. So I became a technical director. We were a bunch of people working in hardware and software development and manufacturing. Well, the experience was priceless because I could work in what we could call a startup these days, doing pretty much everything from hardware design to software development, support, making the company international, It was a really, really good experience, and I could really understand the technology from within, the actual development of hardware products. But after a while, other interest arise, and I wanted to become international again and find out more in other parts of the world. So I went to another side of the world, Africa. I was living in South Africa for 3 years, and that allowed me to work with local companies which were doing homes and buildings with the goal of saving energy, especially because the energy is a scarce resource in those countries. So that also allowed me to do flagship projects like in Kenya, the first KNX installation in that country, as well as the first KNX installation in Seychelles and in resorts, hotel resorts, in private islands, which I won't deny it was an absolute pleasure working there. But at the same time, I had other interests. I always liked the sustainability aspect of the construction of green buildings. And I was learning about a LEED, which is leadership in energy and environmental design. And I thought it was a great match with the KNX technology. So LEED certifies buildings which are green or sustainable based on different criteria. And then after studying this LEED certification, I realized that KNX could fulfill or contribute, enhance this green building certification. So I created a draft idea, and then I found someone to work with me in the project, and we wrote a book which was KNX for LEED. And luckily, one day I met the CEO of the KNX Association, and I offered him this book to be published under the KNX Association. And that was the beginning of a love story. After that, I started to collaborate with the KNX Association in specific projects. For example, after I became a KNX tutor to teach KNX in training centers, I did, for instance, the first training course in a KNX partner course in Japan. Or I carried out several roadshows about the KNX technology, how to develop, manufacture hardware and software devices, solutions for or using the KNX technology, like in Southeast Asia. So we went to India and Malaysia, Indonesia, Singapore, to all these places, spreading the word of KNX. Then, since 2015, I started to work more closely with the KNX Association, and now I assist the members of this association to make the most out of this vast technology landscape, as well as I help the association to create strategies in regarding business development. A couple of also sub stories in here. One is the KNX IoT Startup Incubator that I will share more info with you in a bit. And also other interesting activities like being invited to the Order of Engineers and Architects of Beirut in Lebanon. That is actually the culmination of an international exposure thanks to the KNX technology. So the technology is global, and thanks to the new IoT approach, is even more globally accepted. So in this scenario where you have a technology that has existed for quite a bit, when you release something new, you want this to succeed quickly. You want to show the market what is possible with that technology. So we thought of startups. They are early adopters, innovators, they move quickly. So we decided to create a startup incubator for companies that wanted to develop solutions based on the KNX IoT specifications. So we started less than 2 years ago, and it really took off quickly. And we are now really overwhelmed by the number of applications from startups all over the world that want to join the incubator. We do 4 screenings a year where we go through the applications and we welcome new startups. Yet we focus on quality and not quantity. We give them a welcome package that is worth several thousand euro, and we host them for over 2-3 years in our incubation, offering them technical support, training through our partners specialized in startups, exposure to events, and all this is free of charge. These companies don't even need to be members of the association. The outcome, companies that end up becoming KNX members and with KNX IoT solutions. So this ecosystem has been growing beautifully. We have now an international selection of startups from India, from Germany, from Poland, from France, from Austria, from Spain, and they are all really innovative in what they do in the vertical of homes and buildings. Few examples: Kumux, for instance, self-service, human-centric lighting, and they use the KNX IoT technology to offer this service into buildings. Or, for instance, SolarEnergy, they have a technology for shutters to produce energy. Thanks to KNX, they monitor the energy and they can offer visualization about the energy production. All these are very innovative ideas, and thanks to the incubator, they are really getting help to put the products in the market and to gain exposure, which is very important for the startups. So this is a part of our IoT story, right? IoT is a technology, yes, but there's people behind. There's companies with dreams that want to succeed in a competitive market. So thanks to this IoT startup incubator, we are helping these companies to reach out to their audience. This picture is from the IoT Solutions World Congress last month, and we invited our startups to be part of this pavilion and to tell the world what they are doing with KNX. Again, it's a way to put the human aspect and the technology together. This picture is actually from this very same week, and I think it is the culmination of the technology and the cooperation with the companies, with the startups, with the people behind the technology. We finally we were presenting to the world devices that are using KNX IoT technology. This is very important because that leads the market, that shows the other companies what it can be done. And I find very fascinating where the products are coming from, and I think it encapsulates very well what is the goal of this Kenex IoT technology, the IoT startup incubator, and the people we work with. This is the brochure, a flyer that we created to present in this show, the ISH for HVAC solutions in Frankfurt, which is probably the biggest show for HVAC solutions in the world. We presented this flyer and these two first KNX IoT solutions. On the left, you can see a product from Siemens. I mean, everyone knows Siemens, right? It's a company founded in 1847, or like 100, more than 150 years ago. And they are obviously innovators. So they put in the market these first KNX IoT devices. In this case, they are indoor air quality sensors, and they are capable of sharing information with the network about CO2 measurements, humidity, temperature, etc. On the other hand, we have on the right side of the page, we have a company called Passive Energy. This company is a startup of our incubator, and they manufacture decentralized heat recoveries. Right in countries where we use heating, normally the air inside the building or the house has to be renovated because the values of CO2 increase, and that's obviously not good for the human beings inside, as well as the humidity has to be controlled. So it is required to bring fresh air from outside inside the building. You don't want to waste the energy that you spend on heating the air inside. So these heat recovery units, what they do is to bring fresh air and exchange the energy from the air inside with the air that is coming in. This beautiful solution is using KNX IoT to communicate with the network. So it can be operated from the network thanks to KNX IoT. Well, the beauty here is that we have a company that is 100 plus years old with a company that is barely 1 year in the market. It's a startup, and both are using the same technology. So at the end of the day, IoT is also a democratization of technology. Anyone can use it, and anyone can leverage the technology to produce a meaningful solution. Actually, these two products can work together because this sensor from Siemens can feed data into the heat recovery unit from Passive Energy. That's the beauty of the technology. That's the end goal, is to make things easier, to allow solutions to improve the life of people. So we at the KNX Association, and especially in the startup incubator, the KNX IoT, the IoT technology means digitalization coming into the game of native IP technology, but always keeping into consideration who is using the technology. First, the manufacturers, the developers that make solutions, and eventually that has an impact on the life of people who live in the houses and buildings. So that's the IoT story. That's what I do. I promote KNX IoT. I run this KNX IoT startup incubator, and whoever is interested is very welcome to drop me a message and get in contact with me. Otherwise, I want to say thank you to Global Digital Week for giving me this opportunity to share my story. And I hope you found it informative and joyful. Thanks a lot.